Have you ever panicked because you just looked at the clock and it's been exactly 2 hours and 37 minutes since your last meal, and that random guy on YouTube has told you that your muscles are literally eating themselves away right now? What if I told you that most of what we've been told about meal timing might not be completely wrong, but is probably totally overblown, and that if you just find a schedule that works best for you, you're gonna have way better results long term? I'm Dr. Will, family wellness chiropractor. I've been helping families unlock their God-given healing potential for over a decade at this point, and I actually just recently have gone through my own health and wellness journey, really getting back into fitness and nutrition and really taking all that seriously for the first time in actually a couple of years. I'm honest with you, when we had our little girl 2.5, almost 3 years ago now, we really fell off the bandwagon. So we've always followed a pretty close to paleo diet. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that that's what we do. But we started to get a little loose with what we were including and what we were excluding. And we got a little loose with, how we were planning our schedule around. And honestly, I hadn't worked out seriously in probably 3 years. And so we knew that we needed a change. We started a 90-day fitness challenge, totally transformed what we've been doing. And the coach that put it together had us do a 2-week cleanse and then put us on a really strict meal plan and diet afterwards. And then we were doing 4, 5, sometimes 6 days a week workouts. And it was essentially a bodybuilding program. And we had a lot of fun. And we also got some really cool changes. I honestly was really starting to trend towards the dad bod direction of things, and that has been fully reversed, and I'm happy with that. But I really struggled with the meal plan in particular, because being a kind of a classic bodybuilding program, he had us eating 5, 6, 7 meals every day, trying to perfectly time our macros and our protein in order to hit our targets. And honestly, that really didn't work for me and my work schedule. I struggled getting every single meal in on the right time. And there was a lot of days where I would skip, something where he had us, doing a breakfast, a morning snack, a lunch, an afternoon snack, a dinner, and then on top of that, a pre-workout snack on any days that we worked out. And then of course the post-workout shake, which was really the easy one to do, but still it's up to 7 meals. And some days I wouldn't be able to get all of those in. And so I was honestly missing a huge chunk of my calories, especially on work days. And that really started to affect me. My sleep suffered. My weight loss actually completely stalled out. I started to lose strength and energy when I was working out because I was way too low on my calories. And I think my metabolism actually slowed down there for a little while. And so while I'm glad we did the program, I'm a little disappointed with my results, but that's on me because I wasn't able to follow the plan. So I dove back into the research and really started to learn why we were doing the things that we were doing. I learned that while that might be the optimal approach, at least traditionally thinking, it's not necessarily the only way to do it. And you can actually get good enough results and changes by tweaking a few things here and there. And so that's what I want to talk about today. First of all, if you appreciate content like this, please consider giving a healthy mash to the like and subscribe buttons down below so that you can see the next video when it comes out. Also, as a thank you, I'll leave you with this. What do you think a potato's favorite day of the week is? Friday. So the fitness industry has convinced us that food timing, meal timing is absolutely critical. If you don't eat every 2 to 3 hours, you have to stoke your metabolism. You have to eat protein within a certain very narrow window of your workout. Otherwise, it's going to all go to garbage. And that if you fast at all, your body literally eats all of your muscles. Have you heard that before? Now, while there is some truth to some of these claims, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. In fact, there's think of your metabolism more like a bank account and not a stopwatch. Accumulations and withdrawals over time is the most important predictor of long-term changes. There's a meta-analysis published in 2013, and they examined several major studies on protein timing and muscle growth. And the researchers stated, and I quote, "The results refute the commonly held belief that the timing of protein intake in and around a training session is critical for muscular adaptations. Now, there is some emerging evidence that making sure you get some protein right afterwards, especially for women, is actually important. And it might be more important for women than it is for men. However, they looked at that timing over the long term and they found that total daily protein intake was actually the strongest predictor of muscle growth, regardless of when that was consumed. Now, do you want the best absolute possible results? Yes. Do your shake right after your workout. And if you miss it, and if it's delayed by an hour or two, or you have a big meal, like, 45 minutes later, you're not going to miss out for the most part. The good news is the post-workout shake is usually one of the easiest things for you to incorporate. Take, it powdered with you in a container, fill it up with water at the gym, pound it on your drive home, and you're done. So easy to do? Yes. Should you still do it? Yes. Is it the end of the world if you forgot it at home? Probably not. Another persistent myth is that we have to eat every 2 to 3 hours in order to rev up our metabolism. Otherwise, it's going to send everything to fat and our muscles are going to break down. Turns out this isn't entirely true. A 2019 review compared several other studies looking at meal timing and frequency, and the researchers concluded there is no significant effect on meal frequency on total daily energy expenditure. In plain English, eating more frequently or more meals in the day did not change how much energy your body burned. In fact, they actually saw that fewer meals, specifically 2 to 3 meals a day, did have some reduction in body weight. So seems to be maybe a little bit better for weight loss. The only statistically significant finding that they found here was that 2 to 3 meals compared to 4, 5, or 6 meals in a day was correlated with a reduction in waist circumference. So 2 to 3 meals is perfectly acceptable, especially if your goal is going to be weight loss. And if you are able to get 5, 6, 7, a day for your muscle building, then go for it. However, 2 to 3, you're still getting most of the benefits of a healthy diet. What truly matters here is plenty of protein, enough healthy fats for hormone and neurological health, and fill in the rest with carbs. So what does that look like for most people? It looks like at least 1 gram of protein for ideal body weight, both men and women. It looks like 20 to 30% of your total daily calories coming from fats, and then fill in the rest with carbohydrates. You can look up a calculator online. It's easy. So whether you split that into 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day or 6 meals a day, if you fine tune it to get if you're a professional bodybuilder, this is not the video for you. However, for the average person, people like me who are working 9 to 5 and have a busy family life, 2 to 3 is perfectly acceptable. Do 5 or 6 if you can make it fit. The last thing that we've been led to believe is that there's only one meal schedule that works for everybody. And honestly, you know that that's not the case. Most of us understand that our meal timing and our meal plan, there's going to be some variety in here, and even day to day is going to be a little different, but you have to find something that fits for you and your schedule and your goals. There's a study in 2023. They compared different eating windows and meal frequencies while keeping the calories identical. And what they found was that individual responses were actually greatly varied. There were some individuals that saw the best results with fewer meals. And there was people that fewer meals actually didn't work very well for. And there was people that they saw more meals, they got better results. And there was people that more meals, they did poor. And so the takeaway here is you actually just have to figure out what works best for your biology, your schedule, and again, something that meets your particular goals. For a mom with young kids, eating when they eat is probably the best way to do things. For a dad, for someone like me who I might be at work and patient facing for 3, 4, 5 hours without a single break in the middle of the day, I can't eat every 2 to 3 hours. I can't just be nomming on a chicken breast while I'm sitting down with a patient, right? And so a more flexible approach where I have 2 or 3 larger meals and then maybe some supplemental protein after a workout around that might work best. The key is finding something that works for you, hits your targets, and fits your lifestyle. And so the takeaway here, something that allows you to hit your protein and your macro balance every single day. I cannot restate that enough. You have to hit your protein and your macro balance every single day. The second, something that fits your schedule and lifestyle and something that you can stick with for the long time. In fact, go back to that 2013 study, the biggest and best predictor for what worked for people was whether or not they could stick with that plan over the long term. So it's got to fit your schedule and your lifestyle. It's got to be something you can stick with consistently. And honestly, it's got to be something that works for you and your physiology. So follow your hunger cues and follow your energy cues.